Okay, hi everybody. Thank you for having me. My name is Yuri. I'll be brief. I'll probably take about 15 minutes, and I'm here to share. And I probably have a lot of practical social media knowledge. So if you guys want to ask me any questions after that, I'm available. I was asked specifically to talk about what social media can do for startups nowadays, and more specifically even, should or should not. What? Louder. That better? Oh, sorry. So I was asked to talk specifically about whether or not startups should have a social media strategy. But before I get on to that, I want to show you guys something. Do you know what it is? These are terrible colors, by the way. It's a block. It's a painting. It's a blue painting with a white line across it. And this is the dude who painted it. And I know it came up on Facebook today. I just saw it. But last year in May, the dude sold this painting for $44 million. And I think that's fucking awesome, you know, because it's not related to startups at all. But I just wanted to share that news. I mean, let me click back. Check it out. You know, motherfucker, he had a, you know, because I mean, I understand that we're in a room full of, you know, VCs, CEOs, and people, you know, concentrating on creating value. This fucker, he took a square, he drew a line, and then he sold it for $44 million. Look at these people. He's like, I want to get it. I have 43. That's too little, sir. You know, that gentleman has 44. That's ridiculous. But anyhow, that's not what I'm gonna. Yeah. So I mean. What the fuck, right? So anyhow, I got asked to talk about social media for startups and whether or not, can I please have a moment of silence, please? The millions the millions are gone. So should my startup be in social media? I know it's a ridiculous question because my simple and short and sweet answer is yes, with a marketing budget of $0. And I'm gonna tell you because, oh, by the way, a couple of words about me. I am a creative director and a co-founder of one of the leading social media agencies in a country. We recently got bought a couple of months ago. And the reason why I'm telling you this is that I think that gives me credit to talk about this stuff because this is what I do, you know, on a regular basis. I do lots of campaigns for like FFCG and big household brands, you know, for Coca-Cola and the likes, not the Coke particular, but I work for a lot of brands. And I know what works and I know what doesn't, especially from the startup perspective, and that's what I'm here to share. So, yeah, your marketing budget should be $0 because social media is basically free for startups' needs and for the stuff that you need to get done. I'm going to talk about the role of personal branding because actually Martin approached me and he was like, probably there's going to be a lot of people who will be asking, there's going to be a lot of people running startups, you know, and obviously everybody wants to be on Facebook because like who's not on Facebook, but people have this thing, people don't want to spend money on Facebook and it's probably right from some perspectives. So, there's probably going to be a lot of questions, you know, should I be on Facebook personally? Should I link it to my company page and whatever? So I'll talk about the role of personal branding and whether or not and when it leverages onto the professional side, let's say. So yeah, whether or not, because it can do, there's people who are doing it, I think, fairly well or very well, and there's a lot of people who are doing very poorly, and that's a big difference. So I think that in general, we can talk about the excitement spectrum, and I know it's a stupid name, but there's lots of startups on Facebook, and there's some startups who are doing a very, very professional job, you know, posting professional content, just talking about the product, just talking about the business side of things, you know, how they're evolving, what their current deals are, and that kind of thing. And I think that, yeah, the square goes to the left here, and I think that Estimote is a great example of that, and I think there's a whole bunch of examples like that, people who, companies who just consistently talk about the products itself and, you know, what's up within their companies. And that's a fine job and that's a good strategy. And then obviously the spectrum is very, very big. And then on the other side of the spectrum are people who are a very all-out kind of people, you know, very much into sharing their life online and then linking it to their companies and leveraging that onto their communication company-wise. And I think that guy is a wonderful example of doing that. Probably most of you guys, probably all of you guys know him. Marcin Górecki, and then he does a lot of cool shit online, right? And I think he shares like 15 or 20 or 25 pieces of content every day. He's the biggest oversharer there is, you know? And then he always talks about the t-shirts, he always talks about their companies. And then they have, he's obviously got Koszulkowo, which is currently like 11,000 likes or something. It's a pretty good result. And he has amazing stats. And I think he's a very, very good example of how personal branding, because he's widely recognizable, that's the way it is, gets leveraged onto Koszulkowo info, and as a result, the companies really benefit. I think that Sadek is probably the best example in the country of that, and no reason to introduce that guy. He does tons of cool stuff. Everybody knows the IKEA movie. Everybody knows that's IKEA. I remember when the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, dude, that's just too far. It's crazy. He's like, shush, you see, that's gonna work. And probably all of you have seen it, right? Yeah, it's spread across the internet like crazy. It got featured on international ad sites. And as a result of that, and I know this is very, very obvious, all that I'm saying, but as a result of that, Brand24 got amazing international recognition, and that was the easiest thing to do, really, if you think about it, you know. And then again, they did the same ridiculous video with Karol for H&M. And I'm not sure if I'm right, but I think that video has been viewed over 100,000 times at this time, you know. And it's, you know, obviously they paid some money to get the video done, but it's a little money. I'll bet that half of these people in this room have basic video editing skills, right? So it's probably more about the idea and about the courage and about the boldness and about distance and being cool with oneself, you know, to be able to do stupid shit, because at the end of the day, this is stupid shit, right? And he's a CEO of an internationally recognized company, and he goes and does that kind of thing. And that probably comes across as a little stupid, but I think that it gets leverage on Brand24. And I think I'm a very good example of that too, because this is, I know. Guilty is charged, but then again, I think this is the case. You know, I go out and I do stupid shit. You know, I drive around in my smart. You know, I post this ridiculous content. It gets liked like crazy, and it spreads across the internet. I crossed the 10,000 followers mark recently, so I have 10,000 people following me, and it gets leveraged onto Lubię. It's just very, very. It's a natural process. You know, I do stupid shit. I go to my messages on Facebook, and every now and then I click the other button, which is, you know, nobody clicks there. And then I see lots of business opportunities, you know, lots of emails from strangers who go like, oh my God, I love what you're doing. I want to do something in social media. Let's do business together, right? So, and this is the way that personal branding in a very, very natural and easy way links to the professional side of what you're doing. And then the two can be mixed and mutually beneficial, I think. Is this the way for everybody? I don't think so at all, because there's a lot of people who will look at Sadek and who will go like, okay, this is the way to go. Next time, forget the product. You know, all I have to do is I have to go to IKEA, do a stupid video, put it up online, and I'm rich. You know, and this is a dangerous shortcut that we should not, you know, follow, because I think that at the end of the day, it takes a certain kind of personality to be able to do this. And I don't mean it as a praise. It's just a fact. You know, you have to be a guy who's really okay with sharing his life, who's an all-out kind of guy. And if you have to be natural in doing that to make it look credible and to make it stick, because the biggest asset that you have online is your credibility. And I know a bunch of people. I don't have that in my presentation. I can share it, you know, later on. But I know a bunch of guys who are trying to do the same thing but are failing miserably, and then in that case, it does nothing good at all. So I'm not saying that, you know, this is the only way to go in social media to do personal branding and then link it to with your company. You can totally do it the Estimote way, but it's worth doing that, because mark that, everything that has been mentioned so far is free. It's just down to your creativity. It's just down to your openness and your willingness to actually, you know, go out and talk about your company. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. As I said, we run the agency. We have a ton of practical experience, what works and what doesn't. I'm gonna tell you what our $3 spots are, as in like what we, as an agency, where we spend the money and where we don't spend the money in social media. And again, these are probably going to be the obvious points, but you know, it's worth mentioning anyway. The first one, HR. We pay when we need people. And I think this is a very valuable lesson, or, you know, a piece of advice to you guys, because from our experience, that's what it looks like. When HR works, when it doesn't. It works when you're cool and you're new. And I actually drew it myself. I'm very proud of that. It's, I use my mouse. And then it stops working when you get big. And then it gets back up again when you join the network. This is our experience. You know, if we look at our 4 years of trying to recruit people through Facebook, that's what it looks like. At the beginning of things, we were super cool. You know, we were the Lubię agency. We had this positive vibe around us. Everybody loved us, and that was it. You know, people just loved us. They shared like crazy. We posted a job offer. We got, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's 166 shares, 0 zł to spend. That was an amazing result. We got a ton of CVs. You know, it was very, very easy. And if you have to spend, I don't know, like 500,000 zł on Pracuj.pl on a single job offer or something like that, I'm not really, big on numbers, but it's a dramatic difference in efficiency, and it worked like crazy. And then as we grew, bigger and bigger, and we had more and more need for new people, and we posted that kind of an offer every 3 days or something, it obviously wore out a little bit, and people were just a little bit put off. And within a year, we had these kind of results. We had 4 shares and 20 likes, and people did not really care at the end. So we had to back up, and we had to pay money, and we had to pay for the reach. And then, and this is actually a curious thing, where we joined the then Swedish network, and that was 3 months ago, and now we're linked by Isobar, and we're currently widely recognizable as part of a global network. It's back up again, and we post job offers, and then we have better results. Not as good as at the beginning, because you only get a vibe of a cool startup once, and once you lose it, it's a different stage, and you can get back up in the results, but the vibe is gone. And I think that the lesson to be learned is here is strike it while it's hot. And when you have a startup and when you're young organizations, I definitely think that the most efficient HR way at the beginning is through social media with very, very limited expenses, if any at all. Number 2, and I think that's a really cool thing. I think that everybody intuitively feels it, but I'm gonna cover it anyway. When success, because hey, what's up? What's the doggy thing? Puma? Puma it is. In a way, social media has always been about the fake it till you make it approach, hasn't it? I mean, you're always saying that you're a little bit bigger than you are. You're always saying that you get the deals done faster than you really do. And we're all doing that, I'm sure, And I think that we did a great job with that, because before we got acquired by then Swedish network, we merged with Socializer, our at one time major competitor, and us and Socializer, dude, we were in this arms race. We posted so much shit to our Facebook. Whenever we want to pitch for 2 countries, we would post about 6 countries. Whenever we were looking for 2 new people, we were like, we need 16 new members. And we would post it a little bit higher than it actually was. But it really works, because this is the strategy of success, right? And once you're telling people that you have success number 1, and then you have a success number 2 and 3, and it's just this never-ending flow of success that you keep, and you pay for it, so it reaches a lot of people, it really creates this aura of an unstoppable mechanism, of an organization that's really on the run and that's really going places. And it worked in our case. Check it out. There was this award ceremony with it's Golden Arrow. Do you know Golden Arrow? It's this. It's not the most prestigious awards in the ad business, but it's probably like number 6 or number 7. But we were a new agency, and like 3 years ago, we got a nomination. Normally, big agencies, they have like 15 awards and nobody gives a fuck. We had a nomination. This was our first nomination. We're like, fuck yeah. That sounds like a paid ad campaign on Facebook to me, And we created this graphic, this picture, we posted up. We spent like big money on that. We spent like €100 on that. We got the word out. It reached like 25,000 people or something. 2 weeks go by. The next thing we know, we're invited to this great pitch, and we go to this briefing. I'm not gonna say the client's name, but big one, big deal. And we go to the briefing, and they go like, "Yeah, you got invited because you're a widely recognizable agency, and you won a lot of prestigious prizes over the last month." And we're like, "Dude, we got a nomination in Golden Arrow." So it really works. Creating this aura of success really works. So I think that you should definitely do that. Whatever little success you're enjoying, just get it out. Get it out. Pay this €50, whatever, and let the motherfuckers know. Because so yeah, a couple examples here. Yeah, there's a graphic. You should do that. Everybody should be doing that. This is what social media is for. Bragging, baby, bragging. So yeah, one example of us doing that, another example of us doing that, whatever. You get the picture. You should do it. You should do this. And number three is a little technical, but I think that I think it's very interesting, and I would love to share details with you in the aftermath. I think that you should do customized content, and you should do something that's called dark post campaigns on Facebook. Once you've figured out who you are, once you've figured out what your startup is, what your core value proposition is, and who you want to target, you should do that, because Facebook gives you amazing technical capabilities and possibilities to reach specifically target group of people. And the way it works, very, very quickly, let's say you have 150K people who like Formula One, and then you have 400,000 people who like Mercedes, and then 700,000 people who like Nico Rosberg. You can get it out of that 120K people who like these three things. And this is a very, very valuable knowledge for you from a communication point of view. So let's say you have a you have a message to deliver to the sporting fans. You can phrase that message using dark post, as in like posting content that only those people will see. You can phrase that message in different words for people who like Nico Rosberg, and then for people who like Lewis Hamilton. And it's a little technical, and it's not a very, very sexy thing to say in a conference like that, but I think this holds a great promise. And I think that whoever figures out how to do targeting and dark post on Facebook, right, I think that you can definitely leverage from that, and you can deliver your message once you figure out what it is, because there's no point for you. You're not an FMCG brand. You're not a juice. You're not Coke, You have no real interest in reaching out and emotionally engaging millions of polls. That's not what it's all about. But once you've figured out what your real message is, I think that these capabilities give you space to really make it personal and intimate. And yeah, you can target it against lots of stuff: interest, demographics, social actions, really technical stuff, but really worth knowing. And yeah, basically these are the three areas where I recommend that you spend money. The good stuff is that it's not a lot of money at all. Like I said, you can spend 50 euro here, 20 euro there, 100 euro there, and it works. It works. Sky's the limit, but here's the bottom. You can start small and work your way up. Yeah, basically that's it. Thank you very much.